Creating a new opportunity. If you have one you've already generated and you want a reverse way of looking it up or doing it a different route, you can put in generate project, but that's only if you already have an existing project in the system. So otherwise, you go straight to leads, you go over to add lead. You don't have to fill out all the lead info right now, but it will make you do it as you go through. So what I recommend doing here, fill out email and phone number. As far as utility company, all of that, it will make you do that as you progress. Just click the next progression. It will give you a hold and not take it into a lead status if you don't progress. If you get held up on any stage, just go back and fill out more information and try it again. I don't put an appointment in here unless it's already one that I've already designed or it was from a setter. Skip this first one and go straight to Aurora proposal, assuming that you're doing financing. If you're doing Sunrun, you go in through the Sunrun proposal portal. For this training, I'm going to go in and pretend that this is a finance deal. Aurora proposal, I just simply click on it, confirm that the pin is on the right house. You'll get one more chance to drag and drop the pin. You always want to use it here first, because if you already have seen a satellite or image of the home, this is going to save you a lot of time in designing. So make sure it's good, hit confirm. Then it's going to give you this gray pop-up. This is where a lot of people have got confused in the past. All you have to do is click edit proposal if you're ever stuck on any stage during the proposal process. This opens up the window to go to Aurora. You can only access preloaded data in Aurora through Freedom Forever's portal. If you go straight to Aurora, you're duplicating the lead. My whole purpose of going through the proposal on my end as a salesperson is to make sure my price per watt is protected and that the design is correct. How you're going to do that, you can decide to present using their slide deck if you want, but I'm assuming most of you already have pictures or slides that you use for presenting. What I do is before I get to the house, I screenshot the 3D image and then the last page that shows the pricing. Once you're in Aurora, you have your drop-down menu on the top left. This is the entire drop-down of every single stage. Now, these are slides. You don't have to use all of them. And some people just memorize which ones you can click to skip ahead. What I do is I simply click up here, start proposal, and I go all the way through. We're going to go in and I'll show you guys $3 to show some profit. If I'm wanting to show like a 3 to 330, which is kind of that sweet spot as far as a net price goes, net simply means you're removing all the dealer fees and adders and all that out of it. It's the money you want to keep. A lot of the other companies use this in reverse. What Freedom does is they do net, and then everything you turn on adder-wise is customer facing. So if you do not turn it on, it's going to come out of your money. If you do turn it on, it's going to just simply be passed on to the gross price. So customer facing pricing. Because if you don't change the pricing, this up here, the net, is going to stay at a 450, which good luck selling that unless you're in Mass, maybe even California. But I haven't sold a 450 net on any project. Adding energy usage, it's as simple as putting in the monthly. If you have all 12, you can do an average monthly bill. You want to get as close as you can to the average, or if you have the actual 12 months, you want to put in the kilowatt hours over the bill pricing. And obviously that's for accuracy. If you just need a beta run of a design, put in the average monthly bill. For this scenario, I'm going to show you worst case. This is going to show most accurate reflection of what they have as residential pricing. I put that my average bill is $150. Now I'm generating. It's saying this is way off, by the way, for that area, way off. I was at 20 cents at the time. You're not going to want to show this slide because this one is never accurate. It's never up to date. So plan on skipping the one that shows your current energy pricing. Now, the next one is showing traditional power. If you already have a slide like this, use it. Otherwise, it just gives a simple breakdown of all the extra costs of transportation and distribution. I like this one because it shows that there's 15 steps to get power to your house. The next 3 slides simply explain solar. The Vivint systems, I haven't been adding them on. You do have the option to add them into a deal. Although they've just dropped all the panel pricing adders down. So Vivint systems are going from free to paid. My recommendation, do the 7-cent panel adder and pass it to the gross price, so customer facing, instead of doing the free Vivint system. Otherwise, you're doing a 17 cent. So you're basically paying 10 extra cents for them to get a free Vivint system. You're going to see that it auto detects a roof structure. If you're building on a place that has a photo from the winter and everything, all the grass is dead or it's a dirt yard, you're not going to get anything detected. Here's worst case. It doesn't tell you that it found a house. Go up to the top left. You see the little house symbol with a plus button. You would click that and you would just request expert model. My recommendation is always do it yourself first because you can do it in 90 seconds if you want. On this scenario, I'm going to do it myself. You click this little panel array looking button right below the plus. Your go-to should always be the Freedom Forever Halo 400 watt. Those are standard on every deal and they lowered the adder. The 400 watts by Freedom are not white labeled. They're actually manufactured by a residential panel manufacturing facility that Freedom Forever bought during the pandemic. They're not white labeled. They're actually made and owned by Freedom, which is why they do a 25-year production guarantee on top of the 25-year warranty. You pick the panel orientation based on whatever you think would look best or fit best. Most of them take up, depending on if you have doggy dormers or not, most take up the same roof space because they're the same size no matter which way you turn them. Now it's going to auto place them in what they believe is the best spot. Now keep in mind, it's only going to design to 101%, regardless of what offsets are as far as offset caps. Telling you that it dropped panels where the best sunlight exposure is on this roof. You can turn them on and off.
Can we change this design to whereas can have more power go over the 101%?
As long as the AHJ allows it, then absolutely. You're going to need to make sure that the AHJ approves it. You see where it says 98% right now? All you do is you just see these grayed out areas. All you do is click them. You turn them on. You decide how you want to do it. It'll max fit based on sun exposure. Designing a deal yourself literally takes a couple minutes. All you do next is finalize. So once you're done with design, hit finalize. It'll plot that in 3D renderings. On this model, when you finalize, it's going to go ahead and plot and match what that price from the beginning. It has 3D. All you do is pinch and drag, and this thing can zoom in, zoom out. I'll take the screenshot and I'll save that, the picture that I text to them to establish that text relationship. Remember, we set the price at $3 on the net. So you're going back to the top left, clicking the dollar sign. Now it's telling me the system size and what that would look like cost-wise. Here's what I do. I always turn on this to make it customer facing on the Freedom Forever 400 watt panels. I always turn on, if there's more than 2 planes, you'll turn this one on. We only did 2 planes on this example. Small system size adder for anything under 8 kilowatts, you'll need to make sure that's turned on here to make it customer facing. Remember, if it's not turned on, you're eating that cost. Everything that's house specific, cell specific should all be on the customer. One that you need to watch out for, steep roof. What I always tell everybody, if you're unsure if it looks steep from the ground, turn that thing on. You notice it's increasing the gross price, but your net's staying the same. Discounts and incentives. You don't need to fill these out unless you're doing a kickback. And I also would not fill it out if you're paying a check or you're doing an incentive for referrals. I would do that outside of Freedom, because if you do an incentive, you have to add a dealer fee on top because they're financed. This is the ITC. They're automatically going to turn on the ones that are standard on every deal. What I would do if they're elderly or they don't qualify, you just toggle that little button and then it turns off the tax credit. So what I'm doing is I'm updating this with those new adders, simply clicking next. These are more informational slides. This one, final pricing slide, is where you select the finance option. Here's what I've seen a lot of people get stuck on. Let's say we select a 359 25-year. If you don't let it load at the bottom, then it's not going to populate your total pricing. Or if you don't click next, then it's going to forget that you set the price. So you actually have to click to the end of the deck to lock in the financing you selected. So we would click through showing pre and post pricing. Notice it's just loading at the bottom. Once that loads up, it's locking in that price in my proposal. If you're right in front of the customer, you can just click apply now, and that'll take you to the credit. If you're not in front of them, you'll need to go to the last page, which is this page. Go to the drop down and hit next steps to lock it in, or share the proposal. If you're not going to send it and you're going to go do a in-person sit, I would simply click next steps, and the page you want to look for is this one. If you don't get to this one, you didn't lock in your proposal. It's going to show you this, and once this stops loading, you've got congrats. Your application's approved. The reason they show you approved is not saying they pre-checked. It's not saying you got anything credit-wise. It just means they locked in your Aurora proposal. That's all. Now, here's another common issue. You get all the way to the end of Aurora, and instead of going back to the portal, you click the top left. That's going to put you back in the sales mode. That basically takes you back to the beginning of the proposal. Click on the other tab. I'm back in here. And then all you have to do is refresh on your status, and you'll have your new proposal pricing in here. So now I've got a proposal right there. Here's where people get confused as well. Net pricing on this portal is what we consider on the sales side gross pricing. I know that's confusing, but we do gross pricing on sales side as customer facing. Freedom does net pricing, saying everything in a basket. So our net price is the money we protect. Our gross price is the money it costs. Ignore the verbiage on this portal and you'll be fine. Your net is still the $3 on this project. If you run into a technical limitation or something that just seems techie, go into this little square at the bottom left. It looks like a chat bubble. This is your account support link. It takes you straight to help. You would click that, you'd fill out your information, and then you would attach that screenshot.